Hi. So today I am debating the resolution that the death penalty should not be abolished. Imagine watching a program in which a person brutally murders 5 children in a daycare facility. He has no remorse in court for his crime, and the jury decides he should spend life in prison without the possibility of parole. This is the scenario in which we are speaking on today. Follow me as I provide 3 reasons why the motion for capital punishment is strongly supported. Let's start by discussing the worth of human life. The moral case for capital punishment rests upon making a strong distinction between the relative worth of human lives and how that influences punishment of various crimes. Some may believe that all human lives are inherently equal and valuable, regardless of the individual's chosen crime. With this mindset, justice succeeds only for human predators. The innocent loses. A system of justice must make a clear distinction between the two, and the criminal system must respond accordingly. We must always preserve the reality of justice. There can be no civil society without it. And without standards and expectations of justice, there cannot be safety, freedom, or liberty. So despite how accepting the concept of capital punishment may be, it is critical that states be allowed to continue with the death penalty in some form. And not only is it critical, it is required of the 8th Amendment under the Constitution. So let's discuss the requirements of the 8th Amendment. In 1977, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled that capital punishment is constitutional. And since that ruling, most death penalty cases have pertained to the execution of those convicted of committing a murder. The 8th Amendment requires that every punishment imposed by the government commensurate to the offense that is committed. Murderers must be held accountable, and historically, the death penalty has been the most effective way of doing so. The definition of commensurate is corresponding in size or degree, in proportion or comparison. So for example, a person's salary will commensurate with their experience. Therefore, when invoking the 8th Amendment, it is required to have a punishment that is corresponding in size, degree, and in proportion. To abandon the idea of proportionality in sentencing would be abandoning the pursuit for justice itself. If we abandon the principle of proportionality in the case of murder, which is the most serious of crimes, what grounds do we argue for proportionate punishments for any lesser crimes? Arguably, Americans are fair-minded people, and I would argue that most Americans subconsciously recognize that proportionality lies at the heart of justice. It is what they want, it's what they expect, and the demand from the criminal justice system is what it is. There is a demonstrated link between capital punishment and saving lives. Since the U.S. Constitution and the 8th Amendment were written, capital punishment is meant to prevent the killer from ever repeating his crime, and the existence of a death penalty is meant to deter future violent, murderous crimes by threat of the same punishment. For instance, in a study conducted by Emory State University in 2003, researchers gathered data from more than 3,000 counties from 1977 through 1996 and found that each execution on average resulted in 18 fewer murders per county. In a more recent study by Kenneth Land and others of Duke University, it was concluded that from 1994 through 2005, each execution in Texas was associated with a reduction in homicides, which is a decrease of up to 2.5% of murders. Another effective measure to deter crimes of this nature can also be used at the lawmaking level. An example of this can be seen when in 2009, researchers found that adopting state laws that allow defendants in child murder cases to be eligible for the death penalty resulted in almost a 20% reduction in rates of similar crimes. In short, capital punishment does save lives. Thank you.